There's a helicopter landing over there. How am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to do this video? Can you hear it? Shut up! Why is there a helicopter landing here? Right, it's okay, it's powering down. Okay, cool. Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence. Today I wanted to showcase a couple videos that I did around the year 2022, early 2022, that are kind of a prototype, a pilot if you will, of this talking style video, right? The sort of thing that I do now, I was doing back then, but I did them a little bit differently. And I thought it might be fun to, you know, just see what happened in terms of style, what's different about the style, what's different about the way that I'm talking and the points that I'm making and the worldview and that kind of thing. I just thought that might be kind of fun. Just because recently I had, you know, the Family Guy pilot got aired, got released or undiscovered or whatever. And it just kind of got me thinking about the idea of pilots. And I suppose these two videos are the pilot for this in a weird way, because they're much older. They're a little bit different, but the same core idea is there. So we've got two. We have one on what I call the content tree, and then there's one on buying more and more film equipment. So what we're going to do, we're going to play both of them, right? We're going to start with the content tree one, and then we're going to do the film equipment one afterwards. And yeah, then we're just going to wrap it up and have a bit of fun, I suppose. So,
what happened?
There's a helicopter landing.
Yeah, oh my.
Pain in the ass. You alright? My name's Joshua Morrison. I'm here with Morrison Productions. I'm out here at Leek Street. We're here to talk about the content tree and how you can use the content tree to help progress your film. So, what is a content tree? First off, what is a tree? Okay, you got your oak, you got your birch, you got your spruce, you got all the other trees that aren't in Minecraft, you got everything. So, you got trunk down the middle, right? Big part of the tree there. That's kind of the most important part of the tree. You don't have any branches on the tree without a trunk. So then after that, you know, as I said, you got your branches, right? And then what do you have on those branches? You have leaves. And also on top of this, you also have smaller branches that kind of extend from a branch, and then you might have branches that come off of those branches. So I'm going to break down each of those things. So first off, what's the trunk in this metaphor? Because this is all just one big metaphor, but it's something that you can use for yourself, right? What is the trunk? The trunk is your film, okay? It's the main meat of your project. It's the thing that you're working on. It's the whole idea that you started, the vision that you started out with. This is the realization of it, the complete realization. That's what the trunk is, okay? Now, you have some other additional elements with this, because you don't just want to release your trunk, because what's that? That's just something you're going to stick in an apocalypse. You want a vibrant bloody tree, yeah? You want a big fuck-off tree that's like a sequoia. You want a sequoia in your back garden that can impress everybody. That's what you want. So, you got to stick some branches on it. The more branches you have on your tree, the bigger your tree is going to be. That's just logic, right? Now, what are the branches? Branches can be anything that is related to your film, that is like directly related to your film, okay? This is stuff that if I wanted to find out more about your film before I committed myself to watching it, this is the stuff that I would have a look at. So this can be your trailers, this can be your soundtrack, this can be your behind the scenes, this can be your adverts and your promos, okay? Stuff that uses footage very directly and blasts it out there, okay? And on top of that, you might have, as I mentioned, smaller branches. So for instance, if you have your trailer, you know, you have your big Star Wars movies and Aladdin and all that, and they have a trailer for their trailer. That's a smaller branch. And you can make your own smaller branches, just like you can make your own regular branches. If you can think of something that is new or that is something that people might want to watch. For instance, what I do is I take songs from the soundtrack and I take clips from the film, and I combine them to make rather basic music videos. And I call them music videos, and I put them on the channel. And that was something that was very easy to make, but it's now something else that has been put out there. It's another branch on the tree. The more branches you have on the tree, the the more people you're going to be able to get to see your video, the more people will have the chance to even know what your project even is. You know? And that's the first step, is getting them to know what your film is. You want to garner people's interest, and each branch you have is another opportunity to garner interest. And that trunk of the tree, that is where that interest leads. That is where the resolution of all this excitement is leading up to. Now, what's on your branches? You've got all sorts of leaves, okay? Now, what are the leaves? Leaves are less tangentially related to the film and more of a general aura that you're trying to put out there with this film, with this project. This is something that you're trying to make appeal to people. So that leaves a few things left, because this is all just the stuff that you can make. But what's very important is getting yourself out there in front of other people. Not just in real life networking, which is extremely important, but kind of a topic for another day. It's getting yourself on podcasts or in interviews or on radio or anything that you can. Even if it's a bloody Reddit AMA, anything. Get your name out there to someone. If someone sees who you are, you've got one potential viewer, right? Now, if you increase the scale, if you keep doing this, you're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 24, 304, 290, you've lost some viewers, 697, you know. Eventually, say you get to 1,000. Of every 1,000, my golden rule is of every 1,000, you're going to get at least one. At least one. And if you don't get one, you're going to get more than one. So if you get 1,000 viewers of anything that is related, even if you account for all the different parts of your content tree, you know, say you get 20 views on this, 50 views on that, 104 views on that, etc., etc. If it builds up to 1,000, you've got yourself one guaranteed viewer of that main trunk, someone that is going to climb up your tree and be able to look out from the top of the tree, having experienced the whole tree. Okay? This is what content trees are. They're a metaphor. They're something to play with, to enjoy. Okay? They're not your fucking spreadsheets. To me, they look like trees. They don't look like little squares with lines attaching them. Okay? Because you need to understand the visuals to live in that visual. And it's got to be your visual, not something that I'm telling you. It's got to be something that you bring from within yourself. Maybe you don't want to do actively a content tree, but use it as a platform to go find something similar that fixes all the issues that you might have seen that's so obvious to you, but not to me. Because we have different problems, and those different problems need different solutions. So you've got your content tree, now run off and you know, do good by it, and you know, make some mad fucking videos, send them over, I'll watch them. I'll leave a comment and that for the old algorithm and that. Yeah, that's it. Have a good one. Enjoy your life. Don't do drugs, I guess. Fuck it, that's it. So that was the content tree video. I think that one's probably my favorite of the two. I probably shouldn't say that because now I'm going to play the worst one. Right, well, here's the worst one. This is the one on film equipment, which really should have been more just like one long take, but I insisted on jump cutting and trying to cut things down. It was originally like a 14-15 minute video that I cut down to about 7 minutes, which I shouldn't have done because I feel like I maybe got rid of some good points in there. But yeah, here's that video. You know, when you're trying to find equipment for that thing that you want to do, okay? And it needs equipment to work, but it's all stuff that costs. And there is a limited amount of money in the world, and an even more limited amount of money that is in the hands of us normal people. So what you want to do is spend your money in the most wise way to get the most bang for your buck, basically, right? So quite logically and naturally, people therefore put quite a lot of time and consideration into what it is specifically that they're going to get, down to brands and models and, you know, manufacturing numbers. But what I would rather do instead of that is give a differing kind of opinion, because when you put in that much time into deciding what's the best camera, for instance, you might have spent so much time considering this and pondering it that by the time you've gotten the camera, so much time has passed where you could have used that camera for something, where you could have made something out of it, and you're still spending hours and hours going through forums, and you're just looking through so much different stuff trying to find the thing that's right for you. But at the end of the day, all the different options that you might be considering, they might all do the job that you need. And no matter what your budget is, don't feel bad about buying cheaper stuff, because you might go on a forum, and I find this a lot. I go on a forum and I'm trying to figure out what I want to get. They'll always start banging on about, oh, that thing that you want that's kind of cheap, it'll break in 20 minutes. You want to make sure you get this thing that's 5 times the price. It will last you definitely at least 5 times as long. Yeah, I've heard that one before. Now look, I've gotten through my fair share of cheap equipment. For instance, shoulder rigs. I used to use a lot of shoulder rigs. I don't really use them anymore. They would last me about a year each. And for 30 quid, a year of constant use, I think is pretty good. When you consider that in 10 years, I will have spent £300. And when you consider as well that you can buy a shoulder mount for much more than £300, is that shoulder mount going to last you more than 10 years? If it does, brilliant. But at the same time, you're only making that profit after 10 years. But also, keep this into consideration. With equipment like this, you want to be using it for freelancing gigs. You want to be earning money with your equipment. Now, if you're spending £30 on your initial piece of equipment and it lasts for a year, let's do some easy maths and say that you take on 10 jobs with that shoulder rig in 1 year. Okay, let's lowball it and make everything easy. You get 10 gigs in a year, and each of them pays £100. So that's £1,000. That's a £970 profit from that investment of the shoulder rig, isolated from everything else. Now, let's take that same thing but replace it with a £300 tripod. You do the same 10 jobs, you'd get the same £1,000. You're only earning, fuck off. So I've got so many alarms. You're only earning £700 on top of that £300 investment. So you're only getting £700 of profit as opposed to 970. So what I would like to put to you is you don't really need to be worrying all the time about whether this is the right bit of equipment for you, because I've been down that rabbit hole. I've spent hours and hours, weeks, drawing through fucking spec numbers and this one here, it does a slightly more vivid cyan than the other one, and oh wow, this one can go up to f1.2 as opposed to f1.4. There'll be many situations where specifically that extra 0.2 of f-stop is going to do a world of difference. It's not. It really isn't, okay? So what I would actually recommend is, instead of looking at anything new, look to the last generation, the stuff that no one cares about anymore. Because this camera, right, that you're seeing this footage on, it was done with a Canon C100 Mark I. That's the Mark I from 2012. Now, the 2012 model has a couple things that are different from the 2015 model, the Mark II. The Mark II is better in a very couple distinct ways, but those ways are really minute. For instance, there's a little side attachment to the Canon C100 that you stick in, and it has a little joystick on it, right? And that joystick is what you use to control the menus. Now on the C100 Mark II, you don't have that. Instead, the joystick is actually attached onto the camera. So you don't need this side bit. Okay, they'd be neat. And I use the word neat for a very specific reason, because the Mark II is 3 times the price. This cost me £600, right? Used, which was a pretty good deal, I'm going to be honest. I'm pretty happy with myself. The Mark II, upwards of £2,000, £3,000 even. That's not even getting to the Mark III, that's just ridiculous. But this camera here, the Mark I, do you want to know how much it was when it came out? It was £10,000. If you go back 10 years, were movies really 1/10 as good looking as they are now? They weren't, they looked about the same. Really, let's be real. So you don't need the latest, greatest, bestest thing, because someone else is out there doing what you do with less than you have now. And that's very important to remember, because it puts everything into perspective. because a lot of filmmakers and a lot of, especially people that are getting involved with camera, DOPs and stuff like that, people who rely on kit to be able to get jobs, they are so invested in their equipment. And there's certainly good reason to when you've got money being put into it. But you don't need to worry about it quite so much. If you enjoy going down the rabbit holes, more power to you. You know, go down the rabbit holes. But if you're like me and you just find it a grind, you just want to have the right camera for yourself, honestly, just get the one that feels right to you. But yeah, that's pretty much just my thought on equipment. It's useful, you need it, obviously. However, I don't think it's the be all and end all. I've never watched a film and thought, this was brilliant because it was shot on a Sony. It just never happens. Or there was a pigeon that was kind of doing a bit of an awkward thing and it started doing a Michael Jackson moonwalk. It was brilliant. I wish you'd seen it. You know, maybe if I'd had a better spec camera, you would have seen it. But I don't, so you didn't. Haha. Sucks to be you. I win. Bye. Right, well, that was fun, wasn't it? I hope you enjoyed that. That was a good time. Yeah. So that's those are those two videos. I hope you got something out of them. We're not going to do any. I mean, if you want to discuss them in the comments, then you can. But I don't really have anything to add to them, to be honest. I mean, they're just a couple videos. They're just the pilot of this, and I thought I would spend this video showing them off, really, because I spent effort making them. I might as well do something with them. That's my idea, anyway. I know that sounded very cynical. I don't mean it to sound cynical. It's just sort of how it is, really. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching. Love you all. You're all brilliant. And leave your thoughts about those. Do you think I should go back to that style? Do you think I should do more jump cuts and inserting weird footage or whatever? I feel like you don't want that, because I get comments all the time saying, "Oh, I'm so glad there's no jump cuts in this. I'm so glad that you don't like try and fill it out with a load of like, you know, ADD garbage to try and, you know, keep people engaged for as long as possible and just allow yourself to be yourself." People like that. So maybe it's a good thing that I didn't carry on that style. I actually had one more video. I'll see if I can find it as well. If I have found it, then this isn't the end of the video. It was about cameras in general and finding the right camera for you. And yeah, I filmed that one as well, but I never released it for whatever reason. So if I find it, then we can use that as well. So yeah, anyway, if I haven't found it, then this is the end of the video. So if it's not, then there's probably about 6, 7, 8 minutes left. Oh, I guess there was 6, 7, 8 minutes left of it. That's the end of it now. There's not another one.